On June 20th, The Hollywood Reporter published an article where Leslie Headland tried to walk back the gayest Star Wars ever remark. Clearly, this was a comment from a gay interviewer who thought it was a huge win. Turns out, this was the monkeypox of entertainment.
I'm not sure I could say that, Stu, but we'll do it anyway.
The Acolyte creator doesn't believe her new Star Wars series is queer with a capital Q.
Well, I guess it's just a lowercase q.
Leslie Headland, showrunner of the Jedi drama starring Amanda Steinberg,
Oh, who cares, Sternberg?
is proud to inspire LGBTQ fans, but says the story is being read in unintentional ways.
I guess lesbians chanting and impregnating each other with the Force. I mean, they're not lesbians, but they have a very affinity for each other. Good Lord, I can't play with this. This is ridiculous. The problem with making your sexuality the center of your identity is that it bleeds into every aspect of your life. Poor Leslie is writing queer stories, even when she thinks she's not. This interview with The Hollywood Reporter was the oddest attempt at damage control I've ever seen this week outside of the doc. And it's going about as well for him as it's going for Leslie. Not at all. This interview goes over how Leslie Headland pretty much got the job she wanted while on the red carpet saying she wanted the job.
A show she had in her mind since her childhood.
Critical Drinker was right. This show is a therapy session for Leslie Headland, and it only cost $180 million, which, judging by today's inflation numbers, seems about correct.
The Rise of Skywalker premiere, when she was asked if she had any Star Wars ideas of her own, Headland responded that she's had a Star Wars story in mind since childhood, and that the Oscar-worthy performance urged Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy to give her a shot.
Modern Star Wars is total clown shoes, and journalism is also a joke. This article uses the phrase queer, gay, or LGBTQ every other paragraph, as if you'd forget. But when the show's only defense is everyone is LGBTQ, you know that you have a bomb on your hand. You can't dislike the show. They're gay.
Ensured that the LGBTQ plus community was well represented on her Disney Plus series. She immediately envisioned the hate you give star Amanda Steinberg in the Acolyte's dual lead role of identical twins Osha and May. She even had concept art created with Steinberg in mind before approaching her about the role.
So basically everything here was like nothing but like nepotism. It was like, ooh, I know that you're they, them, and you're gay. You're in. I know you're gay because you're on my last gay show. You're in. Representation. The only thing that wasn't represented was a good goddamn story.
Steinberg, who identifies as non-binary and gay.
See, I told you. I don't care. I'm moving on. Honey, did you hear? They're gay people in the Acolyte. It's a new concept. Homosexuals.
However, as someone that genuinely pushed back on the notion that queer artists are capable of creating only queer or queer-coded art,
which we are witnessing now, the code couldn't be clearer, and I didn't take classes for programming.
Headland remained perplexed by the recent viral moment from her show's LA junket.
Basically, the LA thing happened, the gay dude was like, and I quote,
"The Acolyte is arguably the gayest Star Wars by a considerable margin. The writer, director, and star had fun with the line of inquiry, but now that the exchange has generated a bevy of responses, the question of what makes this piece of mass entertainment gay is one the queer artist continues to ponder earnest."
Lady, the gay dude interviewing you said that it was the gayest Star Wars he'd ever seen. And I think he knows a thing or two about the subject of gay shit.
Perhaps the most queer-adjacent story point is that the 24-year-old twins were born to two moms. It's eventually implied, not confirmed, that Anastasia used her brand of force powers to impregnate Coral.
Yeah, like that happened. It's not implied. That was the story beat.
I carried them. I created them. And what happens if the Jedi discover how you created them?
What do you mean by that?
They are a matriarchal society. As a gay woman, I knew it would be read that their sexuality is queer. But there also aren't any men in the community. So, a closeness between the two of them would be natural. It seemed plot-driven, she added. I would say it's really reductive to call them lesbians. I think it means you're not really paying attention to this story.
Right.
ghost.
This is our Witch from Mercury for Star Wars, bro. I broke the code. Well, anyway, if you thought that they were gay, you're not paying attention to the story. Really, lady. There isn't much story to begin with. But that brings us to The Acolyte, episode 5. I think it's episode 5. I don't really know. The episode starts off how I predicted it would. The Sith Lord would come in, he totally dominates the Jedi. The Jedi you just saw that never spoke, of course they were going to be dead. Like, it was so predictable. One single force push takes out tons of trained Jedi Knights. Osha, on the other hand, seems to only get knocked out by them, while other people just die. Okay. Calling the show a thriller is like calling Darkside Phil a prolific content creator.
Whatever happened to your gout? Whatever happened to my gout?
The fight scene in this episode is okay. Is it Revenge of the Sith, the last fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin, just tearing ass? No, it's definitely not that. You don't even bother getting yourself excited. But this is by far the best episode because something actually happens. I find it odd that somehow this Sith Lord, Dark Teeth, he has a helmet and armbands that not only block lightsabers, but breaks them. This makes lightsabers seem like something you would buy off of Wish.com, and then you'd use it at San Diego Comic-Con before it would inevitably break in the middle of your cool duel as like your girlfriend takes photos for you to show your mother. After this dude 1v7s the Jedi that trained their entire lives, Osha shoots him with a stun gun, and it does nothing. I guess his cape is somehow made of stun gun block. I don't know. It's like the dude's Batman. Look out! He force throws a lightsaber. Headland really loved Knights of the Old Republic, and she was truly inspired by it. Too bad it didn't inspire her to be a better writer. And Dave Filoni saw this and said, "Yes, Queen Slay." The Jedi Master's soul, while fighting Darth Teeth, can sense something familiar about this dude. But later on in the show, when the twins switch places, the Jedi doesn't notice anything. Or the fact that the evil twin has a forehead tattoo, he just doesn't see it, not even glances at it. Listen, it makes a lot of sense if you don't think about it. Wouldn't he sense she was lying too with the Force? She's like, May's dead. And he's like, okay. Like, what? The costume design for Darth Teeth is literally a samurai clothing with a cape that somehow deflects energy weapons. There you go. It didn't get a scratch on it, bro. What is that cape made out? This episode's only redeeming quality were the fight scenes, which aren't great. But then again, the writing catches up to the show and it goes back to being kind of stupid again. Very quickly, like you start to go, okay, something's happening. Okay, it's dumb again. They start killing off major Jedi characters. If they died in the last episode of the series, it would have given the audience more time to get to know and like these characters. But right now they seem like cardboard cutout people. And then the second they face some sort of a adversity that makes them seem human, they're already dead. I did like Jackie though. She was probably the best character. She reminded me of Ziggy Stardust. Justice for Jackie. Another gripe I have with the show is the evil Sister May. This bitch watches the Jedi die to protect her and her sister. And at the end of the episode, she's like, the Jedi got what they deserved. Not conflicting at all. Considering literally she just betrayed her master by not wanting to take out the Jedi and turn herself in because her sister was alive. And now she doesn't want to get turned in because her sister's alive? The show doesn't make any sense. Osha also watches her friends die. People that she grew up with as a Jedi youngling. She watches him get his neck snapped like a twig. Nothing but a blank stare. I want to take a moment to point out the movie 300, when the captain's son, Ashtanon, gets his head cut off randomly. You can see the shock, horror, grief, and then the insanity in this man's face. His eyes. It makes you feel something. It makes you feel for him. Everything that happened to the Jedis and the way that Osha responded, I felt nothing. Such wasted potential. The Jedi Master's soul had more range of emotion than the American actress, and this dude barely understands the language. Darth Teeth's real identity was a welcome surprise, simply because I honest to God assumed they would put a woman's head on a man's body like they did Taskmaster in the Marvel movies, or they would have like one of those sister witches controlling his mind or something. Saul wins the lightsaber duel. Of course, he doesn't kill the villain, which would have made everything a lot easier. Then Osha sacrifices her droid to get the bug bats to attack the villain. Why? I don't know. I mean, they would have attacked him regardless of him using a lightsaber.
Turn off your saber. The light attracts them.
I forgot the part where the stun gun hits May and it only knocks her out for 2 minutes. But when May wakes up, she somehow gets the stun gun. How? I don't know. And then she uses it on Master Soul and he's out for a day practically. The twins have a pointless talk. They get into a fight. May force pushes her sister. It only knocks her out. They switch costumes. Then you find out the bugs didn't kill Darth Teeth and he ends up with Osha. I guess he's going to keep her alive. Maybe the plot twist is she starts learning the Force from him. I don't know. The show is dumb. But it was the least horrible of all the episodes. So I guess they put a little less concrete in my milkshake this time. 3 more to go. And this is so going to end on a cliffhanger. And then the show's going to get canceled. Typical Disney Plus.